Booga 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 booga. Hey, it's Chinbeard here, and welcome to my office. Today, I'd like to talk to you about Pepakura. That's right, this guy here, this was made using a technique called Pepakura. The gist of it is you take a three-dimensional model and you print it out on paper, and then you cut it out and glue it together, and you take that 3D model and pull it into real space using just paper. This guy right here was made using cardstock. In fact, I glued my design onto this thicker cardstock so that it would be a little bit more rigid. Pepakura is done with a program called Pepakura Designer, which is totally free unless you want the version where you can save files out. Usually, you just go find a Pepakura file that someone else has made and you just print it out yourself and then put it all together. If you are like me and you want to make something completely from scratch, you do need to pay for the full version, which is something like 30 bucks to be able to save files out. If there's a particular thing that you want to make using Pepakura and it's likely that someone else has made it, just go ahead and do a Google search for, let's say, Iron Man suit Pepakura. And hopefully it'll pop up with a link to those files and you can download them yourself and give it a go. If you want to make something from scratch, you either need to 3D model it yourself or convince someone else to 3D model it. For this mask here, I modeled it in Maya because that's what I know. I went to school for 3D modeling and design, so that's what I used. Once the model was all done, I could export it to a format that Pepakura Designer would read. In this case, an OBJ. And then you go about the process of unfolding it out into a flat sheet so that it can be printed with your normal inkjet printer. In this case, I made sure to scale it big enough to fit on a human face. And then I told my printer to print it out at the letter size. And I ended up with 6 sheets printed out, and then I just set about making the model. The model was made by using an X-Acto knife and a straight edge to cut all the pieces out. And then I like to score the edges where it's going to get folded so that I've got a nice place where I can fold it over and create the nice 3D shape. Once I had pieces cut out, I glue them together. For paper, you can use something like Elmer's glue, or I like to use a super glue because it tends to dry really fast. The downside is you get super glue all over your fingers, but them's the breaks. So after a few hours of that work, you'll end up with, ta-da! Your model in a three-dimensional space in the real world. In this case, I built it so that it can be eventually a vacuum form buck. I put a flat side on it so that it lays nice and flat. And what I'll end up doing is fiberglassing this so that it's nice and rigid. And then I'll fair it and smooth it out using something like Bondo, and then I'll prime and sand it so it's nice and smooth. If you want to use it as a model you're actually going to wear, then you could do a similar thing with fiberglass and cut out the eye holes and all that, stick a band on it, and bam, you got yourself a mask. Also be on the lookout for pre-made Pepakura files that have the texture already on them. So sometimes you could print it out with your inkjet printer, and then once you put it together, it's already got the texture on it, and you don't even need to paint it. So that is Pepakura in a nutshell. If you need help using Pepakura Designer, just look on YouTube. There's 1.5 million tutorials on using Pepakura Designer, so go check those out. If you have any more specific questions about my build here or anything I mentioned in this video, let me know in the comments below or tweet me at Chinbeard on Twitter. That's all, guys. Have a good one.